Long ago, in a country far away, blanketed in eternal snow, there lived a young girl. She was always alone as a child and spent her time creating dolls from her mother's scraps of fabric left over from quilts and pillows. They became so beautiful that people traveled from miles around to caress them and talk to them, sometimes even believing that they carried inside of them the spirits of their loved ones, many long dead. The king, overcome with joy and excitement, demanded that the young girl will be brought to him and locked in a tower to be his official dollmaker. Days later, the young girl, who had never left the village, was brought to a room in the tower of the king's great castle that was filled with the most beautiful silks from the far reaches of the empire. Precious stones overflowed from glass jars, and from these things the girl created dolls that exceeded the magnificence of anything that she had made in the past. The king, instead of being satisfied, demanded more. As the years passed, the joy that made the young girl sew and sculpt with such ease began to fade. The joy turned into loneliness, and then the loneliness turned to hatred and fear. And soon the dolls that were once magical and beautiful were filled with malicious intentions. Shaken, the dollmaker realized she only needed rest, and rushing to her bed fell into a deep sleep, the kind of sleep that only comes from many weeks with no rest or food. But she found no solace in her dreams. One moment she was in the arms of her mother and father, and the next moment they were locking her in a dark basement. One moment she was cutting through fabric with her long and beautiful shears. The next moment she was slicing her own skin, cutting through her veins like ribbons. One moment she was braiding the hair of a doll for the princess. The next moment she was screaming as the king's hands tore her scalp from her head. One moment she was a child, holding the dolls in her arms, and the next moment the dolls climbed up the length of her body to strangle, blind, and suffocate her. When she could feel her own weight being crushed under the weight of the dolls, and could feel her life's breath being drawn out of her like warm air underneath the door, she woke with a start. And at once she realized what she must do. After she buried her last doll, she realized that the veins she had been cutting were her own, and the wounds she made were her own, and she at last was free.